Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, June 25th, 2019 meeting of the Ashland Zoning Board of Appeals. I will call the meeting to order and also ask at this point if there is anybody in the audience who is recording the meeting either by way of audio or video means. Please indicate if you are. No one has indicated they are doing that, so we will move forward. We have a relatively small agenda this evening. First item is a continued public hearing for an application for a special permit for 30 Pennock Road. The matter came before this board at our last meeting on June 11th, at which time we conducted a hearing, the public hearing. The applicant seeks a special permit pursuant to Chapter 40A, Section 6 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Chapter 282, Section 7.6, an accessory family dwelling unit, and 9.3 special permits of the Ashland zoning bylaws to allow for the use of the basement as an accessory family dwelling unit. And again, the property is located at 30 Pennock Road. We opened the hearing at the last meeting, took evidence from the applicant. There was no one else from the public who commented on the matter. We closed the public hearing at that time, entered into deliberations, and requested that our town planner, Peter Matchick, draft a decision allowing the grant of the special permit. Peter sent out a draft special decision, on this past Friday, and some changes and additions were made to the draft, which we have before us. Stu and Brian, have you had an opportunity to look at the changes? Okay. Any questions or concerns or problems with those? Okay. I had just a couple of other minor points that are more not substantive, but just procedural, I guess. On the first page of the decision, Peter, under background and process, paragraph number 3, it talks about additional materials submitted after the application was submitted. There's a colon, and then I don't see anything there, so I'm not sure whether something was supposed to be added there or whether paragraph 3 should just be stricken from the decision. Do you see where I'm referring?
Yep.
Okay. Then over on to page 2, and again, this goes back to my 5th grade teacher and her grammatical corrections. Under facts and evidence, in the 4th paragraph, line 3, whoops, no, something, it's changed a little bit, I take that back. Where are we now? Nope, that looks okay. That's been changed. The paragraph was changed slightly, and that eliminates the issue I had. Continuing on the 1, 2, 3, the 4th paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the 6th line, about 2/3 of the way over, the sentence starts out and reads, "the at the time." And I think the word "the" should be stricken and just should be at the time of the application. And then going down to findings by the board, my copy has, and the draft that was, the decision that was provided tonight has a yellow A under findings by the board, and I think the yellow should be eliminated. And under paragraph B, under findings by the board, I think there needs to be a space between the word may and the word be, because it's not maybe, it's may be. You see where I'm referring? The first line of paragraph B under findings by the board.
Yep, I got it.
And those were the only things, and I had no no problem with the additions. It was a good job adding the additional evidence and findings that we needed and changing the conclusions. I suppose we need to take a formal vote to approve the decision as presently drafted and with those minor corrections. Do I hear a motion to, well, actually, I think we don't need a motion to approve at this point. We just can repeat our vote. I, John Trefethen, Chair, vote to grant the special permit as stated.
I, Stuart Siegel, member, vote to grant the special permit as stated.
I, Brian Forrestal, vote to grant special permit as stated.
Excellent. That completes the matter. We have signature pages to sign, do we?
You have 4 copies, and you have a choice of a blue pen or a black pen. Whatever.
Mark this fancy pen. There.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there was another one, so we've got 5 for some reason.
I think there was 4. Oh, 5.
But we just kept signing, that's all.
Okay.
If we've got one more than we need, no problem.
Yeah.
Get a
I always
shredder.
do 4.
There you go, excellent, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so you will make those changes to the,
Yep, I'll make those
decision.
changes, and I'll file a decision tomorrow, and I'll
Excellent.
send out the notifications, and we'll keep things rolling.
excellent. Next item on the agenda was approval of minutes from our last meeting on June 11th. Those have not yet been prepared, and that joins with the minutes from the 2 meetings in March that we are also awaiting. There obviously has been a difficulty for Peter, assuming a new position here as the town planner, with the assistant town planner, who was the liaison to the board, having left her position in Ashland. There's just been a lot of things that needed to be done, and only so much time for Peter to do them. And what is being done, the minutes for the 2 March meetings are going to be prepared by the administrative assistant who prepares the minutes for the planning board. The videotape from WACA of the meetings will be viewed and the minutes prepared. So we will have those, and we will also have the 2 minutes for the June meeting. At this point, we do not have another application pending within the department, which would require a meeting for the ZBA. Because the minutes go back so long, I am reluctant to wait until our next scheduled meeting, which it's looking may not be until September at this point. I think it would be my preference if we can get the minutes for the 4 meetings done, when we get them done, to perhaps have a meeting on one of our regularly scheduled dates just to approve those minutes, if the 3 of us who were the only members of the board who were in attendance of all of those meetings, to very quickly approve the minutes. I mean, I hate to bring us all together for, what would probably be 5 or 10 minutes, but I'm reluctant to have the minutes not available to the public to review. Your thoughts on that?
I agree.
Okay, very good. I'm going to proceed that way. Next on our agenda, under staff updates and administrative matters, I'm pleased to report that we have an Ashland resident who has expressed an interest in joining the ZBA as an associate member. I received an email from Susan Roby of the Selectman's office, or the Select Board's office, excuse me, on late last week. And I've exchanged and invited Nathan to come before the board and introduce himself, tell us a little bit about his background, which I think we will all find quite impressive, having seen his resume, and give him an opportunity to ask any questions he might have of us, how we proceed as a board. We can ask some questions of him, and then, as we have done in the past, make a recommendation to the Select Board about a potential appointment. So, that having been said, Nathan, if you just come up to the microphone, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, why you want to join the board, and we'll go from there.
All right, good evening. My name is Nathan Band. I've been an Ashland resident for all of 2 weeks now. I'm very excited to be here.
What took you so long to volunteer?
I know, I was dragging my feet a little bit, but
Okay.
I finally got around to it.
Very good.
And anywhere I've lived, I've been involved with the community. I think community involvement and community development is very important. And I'm hoping that I can help in Ashland as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'm currently working as an attorney for the National Guard, but I have an interest and experience in property and land use law that goes back to my time in law school. I like to say I'm a recovering property law nerd. I was the TA for first year property for 2 years. I interned at a firm that does municipal law for, they're of counsel to a bunch of cities and towns in Massachusetts. Worked for another firm that does land use law. Then went on to do corporate land use for a while for a big telecommunications company. My current job with the National Guard does not let me do land use law as often, doesn't let me get out and scratch that property law itch, so I'm hoping I can do a little bit of that here, and hoping that'll allow me to give back to the community a little bit.
Excellent. Very good. Our meeting schedule is the second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock here in the board of the Select Board's meeting room. Typically, the second Tuesday of the month is when matters come on get scheduled for a public hearing, and then if they spill over, we go to the fourth Tuesday of the month. Hopefully that would fit within your schedule?
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Nate?
No, I don't, but I'd be willing to answer your questions if you had some.
I guess, and this is the only proceedings of the board I've seen, so is this, I assume this is not typical even for a spillover fourth Tuesday?
No, I mean, typically there are people here, and the matters here, the applicant for the special permit decision that we finalized, we had voted to approve the application at our last meeting. She asked if she had to be present, and we told her she was invited to be, welcome to be, but she didn't have to be, so she chose not to. Typically, there are people here, depending upon the nature of the application before us, there can be significant citizen participation and comment. Every hearing has an opportunity for the public to be heard, and oftentimes they are, and they're here, either speaking in favor or in opposition to a particular matter. A couple of years ago, we concluded a Chapter 40B hearing that went on for over 2 years, with the room being filled most of the hearing nights. So that can be a sort of a guide to, we can go from being very, very busy with a lot of people, and then some heated issues, to something that's fairly routine, or tonight is very unusual. I can't recall a meeting where we just finalized a draft decision and that was basically it. So, as you heard, we meet as needed when there's a matter that's been presented that requires the Zoning Board of Appeal to act on it, so that if we at the moment don't have any applications pending, so our next scheduled meeting date is up in the air. We'll probably meet to prepare and approve the minutes, as we talked about. I wouldn't expect anybody to be here for that, frankly, and I suspect that would take about a 5-minute meeting. The board consists of 3 members. Brian is a member, Stu is a member, I'm a member, and up to 4 associate members. At the moment, we have 2 associate members. We have Robert DiBenedetto, who's not here this evening. We knew from the last meeting, because Robert was not a voting member at the hearing decision, his presence tonight wasn't required. And we have Smriti Shaduri, who is also an associate member. I believe the 3rd associate member that we had has submitted his resignation to the board, Martin Gurney. Garvey, at least if he hasn't formally resigned, he has indicated in an email that he is going to. Brian, do you have any questions of Nate?
No, welcome.
Glad to be here.
Okay. I don't mean to speak for the 2 of you, but I think this gentleman would make an excellent associate member of the ZBA, and I am all for sending the select board a very favorable recommendation for the appointment.
I agree.
I concur.
Excellent, then that's what we will do. What has been done in the past is I will draft and send an email to Ms. Roby at the select board, indicating that we met with you this evening, and that your credentials are top-notch, and we think you would be a very welcome addition to the ZBA as an associate member. Typically, what happens after that is you'll be contacted to come before the Board of Selectmen, because they're the ones who ultimately are the appointing board, the Select Board. The name has recently changed, and it's a work in progress, but I think I'm batting maybe 60% tonight.
Doing good.
Okay, thank you. That to come before the Select Board, for them to ask any questions that they may have of you. Typically, if they'll vote that evening and vote, I'm going to presume they will vote in favor, and then you will need to be sworn in by the town clerk. And once that happens, I think you then formally become an associate member of the Ashland Zoning Board of Appeals.
All right.
And I don't know what the select board's meeting schedule is this summer, whether typically they meet like
Twice a month.
twice a month on Wednesdays, I think, but I'm not sure what they're doing in the summer. But again, Ms. Roby will be able to let you know. Excellent.
All right.
Nate, thank you very much. Look forward to you joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Okay, that being said, are there any other staff updates or administrative matters?
I I can state that the Department of Community Development has last week has interviewed for the assistant planner position, and we look to hire. And I think we are all kind of coming together and deciding on a likely candidate. So hopefully fairly soon we'll be able to announce that. But other than that, everything is fairly, fairly calm concerning the zoning board of appeals.
Mhm.
And I feel, with the 4th of July coming, we're kind of in the, we're in the summer months here.
Yep,
And so I have not heard any requests that will be coming down or
Okay.
applications that are in the pipeline. However, when they do come in, I'll make sure to email the board as soon as possible.
Very good. How's the new baby?
She's good, thank you so much.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
she was 4 weeks this past Monday, so 4 weeks yesterday.
Excellent.
Yeah, so she is doing good. Thank you.
Well, having covered all the niceties and reinforced in my mind that it's the select board, I guess entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Got one question.
yes.
Do we want to set a meeting for July 11th,
Well,
or are we waiting to see?
my thought would be to wait until we get the minutes, the draft minutes sent to us before our next regularly scheduled meeting would be July 11th because we meet the 2nd and the 4th Mondays technically.
Tuesdays, but yes.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday,
That's
right,
actually July 9th.
July 9th and not
Yeah,
the
July
11th.
9th
Yeah.
and then July
Yeah, 'cause
23rd.
July 4th is a Thursday.
July 4th is a
Right.
Thursday. Yeah.
So I'm not sure we need to actually set a date. My thought would be when the minutes are available, we can confer to see what either the 2nd or 4th Tuesday of a month
Do we have
is
to file a special
is
agenda?
best. I think we would file an agenda for that meeting, which simply would be approval of minutes from,
Yeah, it'd be a very simple agenda.
Agenda.
It'll be a public hearing. It'll be in this room.
just need to have that out.
And,
Does it need to be advertised?
no. There's no
That doesn't
adver-
need to be advertised, but it does need to be posted on the website.
48
and
hours in
at town
advance of the
hall.
meeting.
Okay.
So, like any typical agenda, I'll develop that. I'll file that with the town clerk 48 hours prior
So
to.
it could be July 9th, or it could be...
It could be
July
any
be-
day of the week which works for you gentlemen, and it could be at any time of the day. However, if you guys want to stick to a routine schedule, a
I
routine
think it's
meeting,
best to have a
it
routine
would
schedule.
it would be July 9th or July 23rd. I'll reach out to the person who develops the minutes, and I can try to get hopefully a kind of a time frame when they'll be ready. And
That would be
then, and I can do that tomorrow, so we can kind of move this along fairly quickly and swiftly.
Excellent, thank you very much.
All right, I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.